We are going cross-country for the Inside Corner. JP Morosi live from Los Angeles. That's commitment. Good morning to you. You heard Ryan Dempster just not too long ago breaking down Hyun-Jin Ryu and how he's consistently great. When's the last time you saw a pitcher on a stretch like this?
Lauren, we have to keep going back further and further in the memory banks to find a time when we can remember a pitcher quite like this, especially through this stretch of the season. Really, to me, in our lifetimes covering the game, it's really Pedro Martinez, our colleague, the gold standard there back in 2000, the very height of his career. And the numbers in some ways, Lauren, are very comparable. In fact, if you look at the full season numbers for Hyun-Jin Ryu, at least ERA plus, in some ways, it is the best we have seen ever in terms of percentage over a full season. Now, again, he's got to keep this up over a full year. But if Hyun-Jin Ryu keeps this up over a full year in terms of ERA plus, which takes into effect ballpark factors, the rest of the league, the run-scoring environment, we could be talking about one of the very best seasons by any pitcher ever, period. And again, that really factors in the overall run-scoring environment. So it's been remarkable to see it. And as the guys talked about, it was a great point by D-Row, too, that it was the qualifying offer that brought him back there to L.A., some of the best money spent by any team anywhere in pro sports this year.
A big lead already in the West, a far cry from where they were a year ago in June. Hey, JP, Ron Gardenhire told reporters Miguel Cabrera would be limited to DH for the rest of the season. And immediately I thought and wondered, is it for the rest of the season or for the rest of his career long term?
Well, that's an excellent point, Lauren, and it's very possible that's going to be the case, at least something like that. Maybe we'll see some cameos from at first base, but this really is a watershed moment for the Detroit Tigers and their former MVP, Miguel Cabrera. That news came down yesterday, and in Jason Beck's story at MLB.com, Miguel Cabrera, you can tell, is accepting the reality of where he's at in his career right now. He's 36 years old. He's still under contract through 2023, so it's a long time still that he's got left on his deal. He's getting ever closer to 3,000 hits. He'll probably hit that sometime in the 2021 season, maybe, or late next year. But to get there, it's going to have to be a similar arrangement, Lauren, to what you're seeing right now with Albert Pujols. It's hard for Miguel, I think, to get on the field and play every single day, defensively speaking. So last night he comes out there in the very first game after it's announced that he's going to be a DH. He hits the grand slam. So there's maybe that sense, and again, reading his comments that he had to Jason Beck, you can tell there may be some relief that at least he knows he doesn't have to have surgery, that yes, that there are some chronic issues with that knee, as Doug Teeter, the Tigers head athletic trainer, said in the story, that there are some chronic changes to the knee that are really, at this point in time, irreversible for him. But the good news is, if he's a DH, if you take care of it, he's going to be able to probably stay on the field. And again, much like Albert Pujols, still put up his numbers and be that big presence in the middle part of the lineup. I thought it was interesting, too, Miguel's comment, Lauren, yesterday, that maybe if he could do it all over again, would he advise young kids to take some more breaks if they were feeling the way that he was? Because, of course, he played through so many injuries during the course of time. And yet, he said, no regrets. I wanted to be out there. I wanted to chase that world championship in Detroit, as Miguel Cabrera now, Lauren, in his 17th Major League season.
And that's the way to live and play. What a run it's been for Miggy. Time will tell, I guess, about his future. Nats have had a nice little run. They've won 8 of 10. It's still not a pretty picture in the East. Anthony Rendon, is he long for Washington?
Well, Lauren, it's a really key topic right now. And I would say for now, the Nationals are going to try to keep this decision as far into the future as they possibly can and not make that decision on buy or sell quite yet. The recent run, as you mentioned, they've won 8 out of 10 games. They have moved up. They're at least 6 games back now in the loss column. So there is hope. Yes, you've got to pass 3 teams to get there, but at least there is some hope, which at least tells you they're not going to sell him soon and move him soon. But as you were talking in the last segment, one idea that I want to mention here, of course, Anthony Rendon's hometown there in Houston, Texas. And we'll see how things go with the various injuries the Astros have right now. Of course, he's a rental player for this year, free agent after the season is over. We have not heard anything recently in terms of progress towards a long-term extension. So if you're seeing any longer-term issues and maybe some questions about Correa for the rest of the year, Altuve for the rest of the year, of course, Gurriel at first base has not really had a great year offensively. If it's a rental scenario, and if the Nationals do fall out of it, I think going back to his hometown, a very interesting possibility for Anthony Rendon. Again, they're not there yet, But this is something where we put a pin in this story, Lauren, and revisit it in one of our many trade rumor-heavy segments here in the next couple months.
And then you look like a genius if you're right. Your favorite time of year.
Save it. Clip it, Ethan,
okay,
please.
You got it. Bookmark.